going to show you something here that is particularly useful for our project using gears. So just like we've done previously, select the work plane that most suits. In this case, I'm using the XY, and I am going to create a toothed wheel. Now, I mentioned previously that it's really important to make use of that center point, so I'd encourage you to do that. I'm just going to make a 50mm circle, and I'm going to turn the tool off, finish the sketch, and extrude that 5mm. I always think it's best to view that extrusion in a three-dimensional view so that you can see that it is actually happening like that. I'm going to go ahead and create a new sketch on the top surface. And this time, guys, I'm going to set up some parameters first. So using the circular tool, I'm going to come over here to where it says construction. I probably don't actually need to put a construction line in at 50mm because it will reference the previous object. If I want to create a tooth that is 3mm high, I actually need to come out to 56mm because that represents that it's 3mm on each radius. Okay, so notice that that line that I've drawn is now dotted. That dotted construction line is a reference line. It does not actually exist. Okay, so it's just something that we can use to help us out. In a similar way, I'm going to go ahead and do that with a straight line at 90 degrees. Now that I've done that, I'm going to select the line tool and turn my construction tool off using just clicking that button. Zooming in by rolling with my mouse. And I'm now going to create some angles here. I might make this at say 50 degrees. And I'm going to come down here as well. And the corresponding angle should be 130 degrees because it is 180 minus 50. All right, that's really all I have to do to create that tooth. So you can now see that I've got a triangle coming off my circle or cylinder. And select that one. Rather than go up, I'm actually going to go -5 and join. Alrighty, now that I've done that, I'm going to introduce you to a circular pattern tool. So under create and pattern, circular pattern. What it's asking is, we're going to use bases, and I'm going to select this base and this base. I now need to select an axis. So this can be anything that we are round like this that we're going to go on. We could click the surface or the edge, doesn't really matter. We could even choose that blue center axis point. So it defaults to 3. Because we're making teeth, I want a lot more than 3. Not sure how many I want. 50, too many. 40, still too many. It's getting closer. So in this case, guys, we want that sort of thing to happen. So you want to try to play around with the numbers, maximize that without getting them to overlap. So maybe 28, 29 is about what we want. I like to use even numbers, don't know why, don't know if it matters. Alright, so just like that, we now have a toothed cog. Now it should be fairly simple if you're wanting to put an axle through that surface, for example. You can create a new sketch. Because we've got our center reference point, you need to think about what size the axle is going to be. It might be a 4mm piece of dowel or 8mm piece of dowel or something like that. You can create a circle feature like that, E for extrude, and blow it right through using the cut.